Nick right now joining us, co-host First Things First. You're smiling, so something I said tickled you. What did I say that you...
Oh, well, no, I mean, you're just always delightful and entertaining. Also, I did find it hilarious that you pretend you go to regular airports and stand in security. Is there a lot of security when you're flying private? I'm not sure. I never have, but I don't imagine it's quite the same process J-Mac and I go through. But that's neither here nor there. I have figured I was going to get my comeuppance on the Lakers, and I know we'll get to it, but I do want to respond to your Kyrie Irving fascination. Colin, the idea that you are encouraging the Lakers to just go all in on Kyrie Irving is so baffling to me. Kyrie Irving, I apologize for the dehumanization of the analogy, but the pet tiger of the NBA. Fun, exciting, cool, and guaranteed to end in disaster. And when it ends in disaster, you can't be like, who could have seen that coming? Mauled somebody. I would have never... Colin, Kyrie has not had a relevant playoff moment past round one in 6 years. Why would we think that solves the Lakers' issues when in order to get him, you are going to have to get rid of any of the depth that you had? So the only reason a team should get in at this point, the Kyrie Irving business, is if they are desperate. And the Lakers should not feel desperate right now. They're not good enough. And they ran into a team in Denver that has been underrated by many, including myself, all year, and a player in Nikola Jokic who was playing up to his multiple regular season accolades this postseason, and they deserve credit. But the Lakers should not pull a parachute when they're not in free fall, and that's what trying to go after Kyrie Irving would be.
But I would say this. There's 3 elements to this. So LeBron next year won't get younger. Austin Reeves won't get more athletically dynamic. And there's a really strong possibility Anthony Davis will not go this long without even a nick. Like, we know his career. Like you say, Kyrie's got history, so's AD. So nothing really gets solved with your 3 best players. Austin Reeves is not ascending. This is what he is, and it's a nice piece. LeBron's not ascending. AD's not ascending. And he also doesn't come into camp in great shape. AD plays himself into shape. So my takeaway is, if you're LeBron, you're elegant, you're Elway. I mean, this is Arnold Palmer retiring. It's just like, you don't want to do some charity tour, some retirement tour. Why not just retire now?
Well, listen, I don't think it's I don't think we should dismiss him openly contemplating retirement for the first time ever as nothing or as just strategy or angling. I think this is on the board of possible outcomes. On TV yesterday, I said we need to recognize that tonight, meaning last night, we might be watching the final playoff game of LeBron's career. That's on the board. I don't think it's the likely outcome, but I also think LeBron is going to have the first surgery of his career this offseason. Does he want to do the full rehab associated with that? Yeah. I would imagine once he has some time removed from it, he might. But for the Lakers, where I disagree with your analysis on a couple things. One is, the young players, one of the benefits of young players, Austin, Rui, Vanderbilt, is you should expect improvement. LeBron is obviously descending, and AD you hope to maintain. All the other guys, you should expect marginal, if not significant, improvement. So that helps the team. The thing the Lakers need to recognize to me is twofold. One is this. Do you know when the Lakers lost this series, in my opinion, Colin?
I'll tell you when I thought they lost it.
Yeah, tell me.
It was that 2-minute heater by Jamal Murray, and it went from 1 point to 12 points. They outplayed the Nuggets. The crowd was subdued. They had the game. They had their momentum, and Jamal Murray did what occasionally young great players do. He went 2 minutes, couldn't miss, and it felt like, that's how about you?
I think that's smart. I'm going to take it a slightly different tact. I think they lost this series in November. They lost this series with the 2-10 start. And here's why. People are looking at this and saying, oh, LeBron and AD, they ran out of gas. They didn't have 2 months of playoff basketball in them. I look at it differently. They did have 2 months of playoff basketball in them. But because of the 2-10 start, because they weren't a real team until the deadline, their playoffs started a month earlier than everybody else. They were in playoff mode from mid-March, and then a play-in, then overtime in the play-in. And so they ran out of gas in what was the end of their 10th week of playoff basketball, when for the Nuggets, it was their 6th week of playoff basketball. Everything has a cost in this league. Yeah, Ime Udoka has an infidelity scandal. Looks like the Celtics are fine. They start 18-4. That bill is coming due right now. Your guy punches Jordan Poole. Maybe they're going to be okay. That bill came due, and they said it afterwards. The Lakers screwed around and said, we'll start the year with a broken roster. We'll overwork LeBron. We'll figure it out later. That bill came due in the second half of all 4 Western Conference Finals games, 2, 3, and 4, when the Lakers didn't have any juice left. So yesterday was bar none, the greatest playoff game by an old guy in NBA history.
Yes.
There is not a close second.
Yes.
And I understand the broadcast wanted LeBron to do more. And I love Jackson and Van Gundy. I love them. But they evidently play NBA 2K with the fatigue sliders off when they are openly opining, why is LeBron not driving every play? I also think he should guard Nikola Jokic. He needs to be involved in more of the action. He had played the whole game. Age 38, 20 years in, they're like, he should do more. Meanwhile, Anthony Davis on the bench. But point I'm trying to make is this. Tim Duncan, at the end, was still a great player, and he played 30 minutes a night.
Yeah.
And guys, at the end, the Lakers need to figure out, how can we function if LeBron plays 55 to 60 games and plays 30 to 32 minutes a night?
That's right.
So he has some gas left in the tank for entire playoff games instead of, as you're saying, playoff spurts in an unprecedented year 21.
Okay, so not like you need more confidence, but you did pick the Heat to beat the Celtics. I don't want to spend...
Yeah, who could have seen that coming? Who could have seen that coming? That was such a crazy pick, such a wacky pick. Best coach versus worst coach, and they have the best player. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No. We had talked on this show. We thought Spo would win 2 games. I thought it would go 6. But the more interesting part, because they're so obnoxious and unapologetically confident, it's fun when Boston teams unravel. It's really fun. I mean, I'm just saying, they're teams, like the Yankees, I like when they win. I like when New York teams win because it feels big. With Boston teams winning, it doesn't feel nationally big. When they unravel, it's a great tire fire. You have to drive by it and look over there and stop your car. So I look at the Celtics, and this has been my knock, is that LeBron and Wade weren't a perfect fit, but they were so damn good and confident, they made it work. But they were both kind of the same.
Sure.
It was that Tatum and Jaylen Brown are a less talented version of that. They're not a great tandem either. But they're not gifted enough to just overcome it and blow through the league. So you can bring it back, but Robert Williams is in bubble wrap. Horford's old. The coach isn't elite. Like, you can keep bringing this back. Denver could be better. What would you do with Boston? Because they're going to lose tonight.
I think it's really tricky because I understand that I think the gut reaction is going to be fire the coach and see if it fixes it. And again, I feel badly for Joe Mazzulla. He's 34 years old. It's not like he was coaching, waiting.
That's right.
Will Hardy gets poached. Udoka, if you remember, Udoka was not fired. He was suspended.
Yes.
So because of that, they couldn't go out and hire a full-time coach because theoretically, Udoka was going to be back in a year. And so this guy is just is clearly not ready for this moment against the best coach in basketball. But I do think we run into this question now. Jaylen Brown, 5 years, $290 million. A year from now is Tatum 5 years, $310 million. So that's going to be your team.
Yep.
New CBA makes it very hard to be flexible once you have two guys under a supermax.
That's right.
That's going to be your team. Is that your best path forward? Not to mention, Jalen has given 2 separate interviews this year about some concerns he has about living in Boston, about the culture in Boston, and then you also have, again, to go back to the theme of everything has a cost, you float this guy in trade rumors year after year after year.
Yeah.
He seemed to be bothered by that, understandably. So would I consider trying to retool around Jason Tatum via a Jaylen Brown trade? I would.
Yeah.
Do I think that they have to do that? No, I don't think they have to, but I think you're going to need a perfect storm for this team to be able to win 4 rounds. And I know people are like, oh, Jordan and Pippen were 2 wings. LeBron and Wade were 2 wings that won a title. If the 2 examples you can get to of 2 wings are the best player ever and Michael Jordan,
right,
then I don't know that is a fair comp or example for them to follow.
Yeah, I think the LeBron D. Wade wasn't a perfect fit. They were just so great, they made it work. They also had a great coach. This tandem's not as great. They're very good, and the coach isn't ready. All right, Nick Wright. So the series isn't over. It's great to see you. First things first today. And, I'm not going to needle you on the Lakers because I just think they lost by 2, 5, and 6. They were competitive.
Here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, people tweeting to me, oh, Cowherd's going to kill you today. Here's the thing, America. In order for anyone to really be able to kill me, be it my co-host on First Things First, Colin Cowherd, anyone, show me the receipts of anybody that said, you know what? Nuggets Heat. That's my pick. Give me a break. Ain't nobody in the world get these finals right.
That's right.
I at least picked Heat over Celtics. Now listen, Lakers 7 seed, they fell short. And can I say one thing about Jokic?
Yeah.
Real quick before we go.
Yeah.
Because I have been a vocal Jokic skeptic.
Yeah.
The questions, those of us that were not prepared to give him a 3rd straight MVP, that were skeptical even about him winning a 2nd straight MVP, we wanted him to do what we made every other multiple MVP, except for Steve Nash, do before they started winning all the MVPs. Go on a dominant postseason run.
Right.
He has now done that.
Yeah.
He also has one big weakness in his game. That's the defensive end. And by the way, he was more than capable defensively in this series.
Yep.
Jokic now has fair claim for all the accolades everyone always wanted to give him, in my opinion, prematurely, because we hadn't yet seen this, a deep, dominant playoff run, which is what it takes. But now that he's done it, if folks want to go out and say he's the best player in the world, that to me sounds a lot more legitimate now than it ever has before. And the standard of show it to me deep into May in the postseason is not a Nick Wright invented standard. That's always been the standard in the NBA.
Yeah.
And now he's done it, and credit to him.
Yeah, by the way, I said this about the Denver Nuggets yesterday, Nick, and I said it's not disrespectful to respect history. I'd seen KD Westbrook Thunder, Harden, Chris Paul Rockets, early 2000 Sacramento Kings, Lob City, and Nash. Yeah. So I had seen teams get close and not rise to the moment. And I was skeptical on Denver's young guys in the moment. They passed the test, so did Jokic. So I don't think it's disrespectful to be respectful of history and precedents. And I think you and I are both saying it's a good team, not going anywhere. They passed the test. Many young teams did not. It's fun.
Exactly right. And listen, Anthony Davis was theoretically the defender in the league best suited to give Jokic trouble, and Jokic played great. And the Lakers were not able to torture Jokic in the pick and roll the way they did a few years ago in the postseason. That is what this is. It's about young players and ascending superstars getting better, improving, and getting over the hump. I was a little bothered that we were going to give Jokic accolades that had been given out once in 65 years before we had seen him get over the hump. But now we have. More power to him. Happy for everyone in Denver, except for Mark Schlereth, who's really sending me a lot of mean tweets.
Yeah, well.
It's unnecessary, Mark. It's unbecoming of a 3-time Super Bowl champion. I'll tell you that much right now.
All right. Nick Wright, good seeing you, buddy. Appreciate it.
See you, Colin.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.